It is rare that I stumble upon a genuinely lighthearted yet entertaining romance story. Even though it's set in medieval times and like it's kind of not my thing, it kind of set up to itself to be an interesting and more enjoyable romance story than I thought. Hello everyone, I'm Joe Newin. Welcome to another edition of Newin Anime Review. This episode, Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, also known as Snow White with the red hair. Once upon a time, there was a girl with beautiful red hair, which is considered to be very rare and very special in this world. The girl, Shirayuki, gets asked to become the prince's concubine. Shirayuki, of course uncomfortable with the idea of knowing he will pursue her, she runs off looking for a new life. Along the way, she meets Prince Zen from the Kingdom of Clarions. After shaking start with Zen, the two hit it off and begin to respect each other. But neither one of them wants to feel like a burden or give off the wrong impression to each other. Shirayuki begins to live in Clarions and she becomes a herbal medicine doctor in the kingdom in order for her to stand on equal footing as Zen. While Zen, on the other hand, makes sure he does his job responsibly and to make sure Shirayuki doesn't get the wrong impression of him. And you can probably tell where the romance in this story is already. I really like the stories of Shirayuki and Zen and their friends. Most of them are really entertaining and interesting to watch. I kinda wish I knew where the story was going at the start, and I was hoping for a little bit more focus on the actual relationship between Shirayuki and Zen. Because at times you wouldn't really know where their relationship is. This show is basically broken into a lot of arcs that is all about the characters building chemistry with each other. But with a lack of overall plot and goal and ending, you really don't get into that story that much. But that doesn't mean that the setting of the show and the whole world building and the general story isn't interesting, because it is. Even though there is little focus, it is still interesting, and that is because of the character dynamics. Speaking of characters, Shirayuki is the main protagonist, and just some fun trivia, Shira means white and Yuki means snow. So you get the idea where the Snow White comes from in this show. Shirayuki gets quite a development, and considering the show is involved around her, she learns about her new life and realizes that she needs to earn respect in order to stand on equal footing with the prince. She doesn't want to be portrayed as a typical damsel sport princess, that doesn't suit her. So she works hard to gain respect from everyone. Of course, along the way she changes those around her, especially when it came to Obi, her bodyguard, and surprisingly Prince Raj from Tamboran, the country where she ran away from. As the show progresses, she starts developing feelings for Zen, and I would love to see more in their lovers' relationship. Zen is the other character in this relationship. Zen is the Prince of Clarions. Zen, on the other hand, is considered to be a well-respected prince, although he doesn't show that much enthusiasm to his role. That doesn't stop him from doing his job when needed. Due to him giving off the wrong impression on Shirayuki when they first met, he actually starts trying hard to gain Shirayuki's respect, so she doesn't get the wrong impression on him, because he knew how she saw how up themselves royalty can be. Zen, like Shirayuki, develops with others around him and starts learning more on how he can become a good respected prince. Of course, as well, he himself starts developing feelings for Shirayuki. Obi is Shirayuki's bodyguard and Zen's messenger. Because he was ordered to threaten Shirayuki and lost Zen's trust at first, he probably gets the most development in the series. He starts to learn about his friends and grows as a person who's trying to fix his old habits and generally shows concern to all the other characters. This while being the best third wheel anyone can ask for. What I think is the best aspect of the show is the characters in general, and even the supporting cast get enough time and development, so we generally show much more interest in them as well. Misahida and Kiki, Zen's bodyguards, actually get backstories of how they all came to be, which is a really nice added touch to make us care about these characters. And I wasn't even expecting this. Even Prince Raj, who Shirayuki ran away from initially, gets amazing development during the second cure. All the supporting characters are interesting and get enough growth for you to generally take interest in them, and they all play with each other so well. The interactions are really well done. Being made by Studio Bones, I would usually expect quite top-notch animation, and it definitely shines in this anime. The scenery in this medieval fantasy world looks gorgeous and the colors are amazing to look at. Each character has unique designs, so it's easy to tell them each apart. What I love about the animation is that even though it's mostly light-hearted, you don't see too much action, but when you do, it's generally pretty subtle and good, which fits with the show, except for one noticeable scene where Obi was fighting. If there is one thing they've done perfectly is get Shirayuki's hair done right. Because if having red hair is special in their world, you better bet that that hair is beautiful, which it is. It's really refreshing and beautiful to look at. As for the soundtrack, you get a pretty standard track list of classical music, really mellow most of the time and nothing really standing out too much. It does feel like a classical orchestra, but in honesty it kind of sounds all very similar. Even for all the more intense scenes, it just feels like they're playing at a faster speed. The opening songs are really nice to listen to. I like the light-hearted, upbeat vibe of the first opening, whereas the second opening really sounds like something for an adventure anime. Oh yeah, and the voice actress of Shirayuki sings the opening songs as well. The ending songs aren't really all that special, it's okay but rather forgettable. For me, this is one of the more surprising shows of the season. At first, when I looked at the original cover art and all the art in general, I wasn't that interested in it because it was set in medieval times and it was just a romance story, so I thought, probably not my cup of tea. But after the first episode, I actually got really interested in it and was kind of drawn to the characters, and that's why I think I started enjoying it more. Because all the characters are actually really interesting, amazing characters, and all their interactions are really fun to watch. And the fact that every character is written in a way that they're all trying to achieve something, and it really makes an interesting story for them because you get to see where they start out from and how they end up. Although the start of the show is kind of a bit slow as you don't really know what is the main goal and where the anime is going in the first curve. However, in the second curve, a lot more stuff starts happening, and so there is a bit more focus during the second curve. As we near towards the end of the review, I give the story a 7. Even though the overall story seems a bit lacking with not much focus, the individual arcs are interesting enough to watch, while the world building is done very well to keep us engaged. For the animation and sound, I give it 8 and 6. The art style looks wonderful, it's beautiful to look at, it really showcases the fantasy world and the characters that are in it. Some of the animation is inconsistent and the action scenes aren't really all that exciting, but they completely nailed Shirayuki's hair color. The soundtrack uses good classical music, although it can get repetitive. The openings are great though, they really bring out a nice adventure and light-hearted vibe. For the characters, I give it a 10. I loved how every other character was fleshed out and not too many characters were left behind. Each character got surprisingly good development, and the chemistry among the characters are an joy to watch. Shirayuki and Zen's relationship was done very well, and I love how they played on each other perfectly. As for my own personal enjoyment, I give it an 8. There wasn't really too much exciting things happening in the anime, it was more of an interesting watch, due to seeing how relationships grew among the characters. However, the world building and the character interactions are what made the anime very enjoyable to watch. It has a cute romance plot that I can get behind as well. So for the overall score, after rounding it all up, I give Akagami no Shirayuki-hime an 8 out of 10. It's a really character focused anime, they really bring out a lot of potential in all the characters. I recommend this for anime to shoujo fans, especially if you love romance anime, and those who love to watch medieval slice of life. If you want to watch Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, you can watch it on Funimation. If you are Australian like myself, it is available on Anime Lab. Well, that is it for this edition of Newin Anime Review. If you do want to read the written review, link is down below. Just stream it straight to my anime list. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Come before, go watch another video. With that all said and done, I must continue being the best and most badass third wheel, just like Obi, and maybe one day I'll find my Shirayuki like Zen. Sayonara.